Hey folks, I'm David. This is Living Texas at Hidden Spring Farm, and y'all check this out. I got the A-team with me. Today, we're going to be putting aerial predator netting over our chicken coop to prevent the hawks and other birds from getting our chickens and our guineas. So y'all come on. We have never installed this before. Y'all come on and learn with us. All right. So the netting we got is from Premier One, but if you look at it, it's ordered from a company in Germany, looks like. So this is a 32 by 64. So we got our fingers crossed that once we bring it down and tie it to this fence and then bring it to the other side, the 32 is going to be wide enough. If not, you guys are going to see a total failure at Hidden Spring Farm. So let's pray it's not like that. And it's a pretty bulky net, but it's all wrapped up with this. We're going to cut these straps, see what we got, try to get it rolled out. And for right now, we're going to have to use zip ties. We have been looking into all types of clips to put this on our fence and how to attach it, even using some kind of cabling system and all that. But right now, the main suggestion is when you start out is to go ahead and zip tie it. So we're going to have a bunch of zip ties here. And if we have to later, we'll come back with the cable. We know zip ties aren't permanent, but that's how we're going to start today. The goal is to lay this out long ways and we can start attaching it before we have to lift it in the air across some of the structures that we got set up for it. Let's just pray it does what I'm thinking it's going to do. I think it's turned the wrong way. I don't think they fold it long ways. I think that end's going to have to go to that corner. I think this is, unless I'm missing something, I think this is the 32 length. We were hoping this was going to be laid out in the 64 length, but they do it 32, and then you got to stretch the whole thing out. All right, guys, for some reason the camera got hot and it ain't working just right out here in the sun. But to show you, we got it. We hadn't started zip tying yet. We got it stretched out to go in the corners and go over that end. We got our pole that I got to cut here, and we got it laid out. So the goal now is to start zip tying, and I got to cut this pole and all that kind of stuff while they're zip tying, and then we'll throw it over this pole and start pulling it that way, which is opposite of our plan that we had. We were going to pull it sideways because we thought it was folded up lengthwise. All right, y'all check this out. This crew is doing a fine job. They're taking the zip tie, going around the black strap and around the very top of the fence and pulling it tight. And we are going to do that all the way down. We got it across the back. It's going to be zip tied more than this, but we're just trying to hold this corner to keep this thing square. All right, so y'all seen us cut that tall 4x4 and we've been hooking up the net. Now, instead of just putting the net over top of the 2x4 and letting it get stuck, you see a lot of people hanging the net and they got to keep fighting the net. Well, what I decided to do is use the lids off our mineral tubs, and hopefully that'll give it a smooth transition going up, and during storms there won't be a whole lot of rubbing on the wood causing the net to fail and all that. But I've got to have a piece of wood in here to attach it to and then turn it over and put it up on that 4x4. At least that's what I'm thinking in my head. I could be wrong, but we're going to try it. All right, I'm going to put the board in, as long as it'll fit inside of here. And then I'm going to attach through the top with some screws and some washers to keep it from coming off in the wind. All right, so that should hold it on, hold that board on. It's just like that. And then this board will go on top of that 4x4, and I'll put some longer bolts through this into that 4x4 to try to hold this on. That's the game plan. All right, so the idea of this with the 2x4 on it is the net is going to be pulling down on this side. It's going to be pulling down on that side. So I'm going to try to center it as best I can, and then attach it to that 4x4. Okay folks, so we had a problem with our audio on this portion of the video, so I'm going to explain to you exactly what we were doing. You can see my wife in the background. She's connecting that end of the net to the fencing. I'm trying to get the bulk of the netting over the top of the mineral tub lids that I had showed you I made to put on top of the post. And my son is having to pull the netting to stretch it out that way, because the net was heavy enough that we had to, it was pulling down and we couldn't get it over the top of that post there. So we had to do that, and we had to maneuver the net back and forth to get it to work. So this netting itself is really difficult to work with in instances where there can be a snag or it attach itself to something. So whether it's your hat or whether it is the chicken coop or a tree limb or whatever, you can bet this net's going to get snagged on it. So it took us a while to get used to being able to figure out how to work this netting with the least problems as possible. But I will tell you this much, there is a learning curve with this netting. So don't be afraid of it. Just know that there's probably going to be a time or two where you get frustrated, because we all did with this net getting caught up. I think the only thing that could fix it would be to have more people than we had. If we'd had 2 or 3 more people to help us keep it up and move it along, it would have probably went easier. All right, folks, we went in and took a break to get out of the sun, and I want to show you the progress we made, because the camera actually got too hot. So we got it all the way across this one. We got it across that, but we're having a problem with it catching on the corners of the coop. And probably what's doing that is I should have never cut these posts. I should have kept them up higher, but we were worried about not having enough net, and now we got too much net on this side. So we're about to start getting this thing sealed up, and we're gonna have to come up with something to keep it off the back corners of the chicken coop, as you can see. All right, guys, that's where the net ended, and we got about this much. So we got to stretch another small one here, and it's starting to get dark. And we got the slack zip tied up like that, and you can tell we can walk under this thing. We got it zip tied to the fence here, and then since we got that wood, we just went on the outside of the corral panel. And this gate, when I finish tying the metal on here, I'll cut that gate like I did in the previous video. If you hadn't seen that, go check it out. It's the video before this one. I cut the fence on the previous gate, but see how the net's hanging down? We can just pick that up and walk through the gate. This is what it looks like back here. You can't hardly see the net when you're looking up, but it's up there. That's those black lids I put up there. And you can, except for the corner, you'd have to bend down on over there, and right up against the edge, you pretty much You can stand up and walk around in here. We got to get that little one up now. Folks, I don't know if y'all can see this, what's going on here, but this net is a pain in the hind end. All right, guys, we got the second net up, and it is zip tied to the first net, and it goes down, sprawls around. We're doing the last little bit of zip tie. My son, my wife are knocking it out, and it's getting really dark out here. I don't know if you can see it on camera very well. The chickens are up, their net's up. We just got a few zip ties to go on this. Hey folks, we are breaking into this video because it was too dark to show you the netting during the night when we finished. So I wanted to get out here and show you what it looks like finished up. So this is the entrance here now, and you see all we have is this right here. We can lift this up, gate goes inward, but this is what it looks like with the netting up on the poles and over this entire area here. I'll show you from this side over here. So the netting is up and it's connected to the fence, and you'll be able to see here. I'll show you from back away so you can see that we just dip down and go under the net at the gate, close the gate, and here we are inside. This here is the large net, and then this here is the smaller net to cover this smaller portion where the large net wasn't long enough. We've been debating whether to zip tie this up, but it's really not bothering us because it's connected over here. But you can see the chickens are in here. We still have to clip all the zip ties, get them clipped off. But as you can see, I just walked down the side. So it's high enough to walk under, come to the back where this pole is holding up the net. And we've got it connected here. And over here, I still have to work on this gate and get this cut for this gate to work. But we just draped it down here because we're less likely to use this gate than the front. And it's just sitting there on the chicken coop, and all the chickens are in, the guineas are in, and everything's going fine. So we appreciate you guys joining us. Appreciate you guys sticking with us through this video over a couple of days, I should say. So thanks again. We'll see you next time. You guys have a blessed day.